and I'd greatly appreciate it. I don't know if Dean heard me, so I'll see if I can't get him in myself as well. Here we go.
Hello? Hello.
Hello, how are you doing? This is Mark. How's it going there, Ronald? Glad to have you on the call. We got Kane Smego on. I know you know Kane. And we got Troy Johnson and some others on as well. So if you would, definitely share with us a little bit about your background and the poetry that you've been doing. And, of course, I've had Kane spit a couple. I want you to spit some, too. You're over there in the Burlington area, so we got North Carolina in the house big time.
Oh, man, Kane, man. I heard him just now. He's a master of the rhyme. He's in there are a lot of people, I always say, that talk a lot, but he is a brother that has something to say. So you're definitely privileged to have someone of his intelligence on this podcast right now. He's amazing. So I have to say that about my boy Kane. Me, I'm originally from born in Philadelphia, but raised mostly in Brooklyn. I've been down in North Carolina in the city of Burlington for about 13 years, and a lot of my poetry is basically based off just the I guess the trails of life and the things that we go through. A lot of stuff that I see or experience through my eyes. I guess it's from an abstract form of just trying to paint stories. I like being a storyteller. And a lot of people that they like to have fancy bars. I like to make sure I tell a story and give a vivid picture of everything that I'm experiencing or going through. And from my point of view, I try to make it very personal and very spiritual. So that's just basically my style.
Cool. And how important, because like I said, we had Troy on earlier and everything, how important is that spiritual aspect to you and everything? So how important is it for you to have that spiritual aspect in your own poetry and everything?
Because, well, growing up in Brooklyn and growing up in the church, I've always believed in having a God consciousness about me, but having also a combination of a street consciousness as well, to be able to have a spiritual flow, but be able to relate to everything that's going on outside the four walls of the church, and to know about, just basic living, about how to deal with people, how to relate to everybody. Don't just have a prayer life, but you got to also have a third eye awareness of everything that's going on about your surroundings, the people that you live with, the people you have to watch out for, the people that are suspect, and the people that you love and enjoy. So having that spiritual sense is very important to me. I think it's important it presents a part of who I am and introduces a part of my personality.
Good, I hear you. Kane, you heard Ronald giving you some praise. What do you have to say about Ronald and his performances and everything? I know that y'all have shared some common space and everything, whether that was Hey Town, whether that was whatever, but what are your thoughts on Ronald as a performer? You heard him giving you some songs of praise.
No doubt, man. I so appreciate it, Ronald. Yeah, I mean, I know how he also does a lot with the body, too, with choreography and stuff, which as somebody with two left feet is not always my strength. I try to do my best with gestures and things like that in the poetry, but I definitely have a lot of respect for cats who can incorporate that also into the storytelling. So much respect, much love. It's mutual. Thank you so much, Ronald. Definitely an honor to get to connect on the radio.
Sounds good. No doubt. Ronald, we heard Kane drop a couple of pieces, and I might have given him to do one more. But, I can't have a poet come on the air without doing at least something. So if you got something that you want to share, and if you want to give like a little bit of background of what the piece is, we would greatly be honored to have you do that. I know we were amazed with what Kane's got going on. And I also want I'm going to bring Skylar back on at some point, because I want to see if Skylar can give us a little bit of a monologue of one of her pieces, because she's been doing that film and everything. So we definitely want to have shared time with our artist community and everything. But Ronald, if you would, if you got something in mind, I'd love to hear what you might have that you want to share with us.
Okay, I'll do a real short piece. Actually, this is excuse me. This is National Poetry Month, so they have the 30-30 challenge. It means you have to try to write a piece every one poem for every day. And so this is actually for day 11 of the challenge that I did, which is really April 11th. It doesn't have a title, but it's just significant, relevant to what's been going on in our world right now.
Cool.
Sign of the times, bandana gas masks, Bloods and Crips be that new fashion. $5,000 bounties for a pack of Bounty. Toilet paper is the new crack. 2-ply in a vial. And Dollar General is the Carter. These rolls be calling me. Fill up your gas tank for a quarter. Back of your hoopty, the safest place for social distance. Online elementary schools. Teach the babies you can curse, but you better not cough. Communication is like communion in the church parking lot. Pick up your grape juice and wafer at the drive-thru. Grocery stores run like welfare. Hand sanitizer promises that vanish like cures. 4 lines worth of customers with only one register open. On the next episode of Pip My Shopping Cart, this is Thunderdome. One man enters, one man leaves. Grandma laughing over her victim like, "Ma, ain't we a pair?" Trump is that new Tekashi, giving out mixtapes at his press conferences. Orange Pandemic Volume 4, just in time for the election. We all know he don't write his own verses.
Wow, that was deep. I really could relate to that and definitely hit it hard with what's going on in the world and what's going on between D.C. and things of that nature. So definitely a different style than Kane's, but it definitely hit what's happening in our world, and you definitely hit it right on the money with that. And you said that was part of the 30 for 30 challenge. That's part of the Poetry Month, which I knew this was going on this month, because actually one of the things that Hayti has been doing is poetry and piano. So they've had a poet and a pianist that have performed together every Tuesday. So I know one of them was Dasan Ahanu with one of the pianists, and Kaylam Biddy was on one with another pianist. And I think we've had probably today is it'll be the 28th, the 21st, the 14th, and the 7th. So this one tomorrow will be the 4th and the final one of that whole series. So there've definitely been some amazing poetry that they have shared, and folks can catch the past ones on the Hayti webpage and the Hayti Facebook pages and things of that nature. So if you haven't had a chance to check them out, they are really amazing as well. Skylar, I was just wondering if you have any monologue that you want to share of either the film or one of your theater pieces. Don't want to give the poet all the love. Got to hear from the actress as well. So if you've got a monologue piece that you want to share, that would be wonderful also.
I was just thinking. Let me see.
I can give you some time to think about that, and maybe we'll have Kane and Ariel talk a little bit about what they've got going on, not just because what are you doing, Ariel, in addition to just doing the poetry? I mean, I know you got like a day job and everything, but how often are you performing? Where are you performing? What are some of the places that people can catch you, and how are you coping with what's going on? Because like we talked about, many of our poets are not able to perform, so we're having to come up with unique things, whether that's YouTube, whether that's Facebook Lives or whatever. So how are things going in your area? I believe you're in Burlington, so how is that going where you are, and how are you maintaining? Because I know a lot of folks, even if they have a day job, and I know that you have a day job, some of those day jobs have been put on hold. So I'm just curious as to how you're surviving.
Well, I work actually at night. I work the third shift, but I'm at Elon University. But lately, they've only had our shift work a couple of nights a week because, it's like a ghost town. So, but we're probably getting ready to go into what they call the summer schedule, which is just full cleaning and sanitizing of the dorms and everything now that all the kids are off campus. So that's going to start in a couple of weeks. So I'll be back to, 5-night weeks. But I also normally I host an open mic show called Soul Therapy. It's at Solar's Night Life, which is in Raleigh, North Carolina, the last weekend of the month. And I've been doing that since last year, July last year. I'm the host along with DJ DDS, who's the DJ, and we do it for the Joy of Connecting People. Kimberly Nicholson, shout out to her. And without being able to do that, I don't get a chance to get out too much. Like I said, I work at night, and so I do try to go to events when I can. I do a lot of theater as well. I just finished a play in November called Touch, a shock opera, which I just showcased online this weekend. And right now, I'm just going this is like my third podcast, so I've been doing podcasts. I did one live performance, and really I've just been working on my range, trying to brush up on a lot of stuff, staying with the 30 for challenge, and mostly just, I'm a father and a husband, so just trying to, keep pace with the family. I have kids, and them doing online school, which is a headache. It's a lot. Shout out to these teachers, because what they have to do with our children is amazing. You have a lot more respect for the school system from what having to, deal with our children. So mostly I've been just trying to take care of the house, trying to take care of my children, and mainly just, doing a lot of online stuff and listening to a lot of the other poets. It's good to feed, but it's also good to eat. So I've been getting a chance to hear and listen and read a lot of artists as well. So that's been the best thing, keep me held up, is listening and taking in what I can learn from a lot of other artists and glean from them as well.
And it's interesting you brought up that thing about teachers, because you're right. I don't have any kids. I got 2 nephews, but I did have a special interview that will air later on this week on Friday with a teacher out of the UK. And we were talking about that concept of how teachers around the world are gaining a lot more respect because, a lot of parents, community people, just folks in general, they, of course, they had their favorite teacher and people that meant a lot to them, but at the same time, they didn't always get the respect that they deserved. And now that we're all having to do, to some degree, some sort of teaching, whether it's even those of us that don't have kids, maybe having to do teaching with Zoom presentations or different other kind of things. So we're learning a lot about how important teachers are to our society, and I think that they will definitely have newfound respect, and in my mind, I'm hoping that some of them, after the pandemic is over, might even get a little bit more compensation, because they definitely deserve much more money than they've been getting over the several decades and everything, I would argue. So I'm hoping that this new respect isn't just a temporary respect. I know I had a conversation, I think it might have been with Ron Thomas, who's a HR person. He was talking about how he hopes that this whole concept of us talking about heroes of our fast food workers and our grocery people and our frontline people isn't something that just is a passing fantasy, and that we actually realize that they are heroes and that we treat them as heroes even after the battle is won.
Yeah, I think it makes a big difference to know what the sacrifices that a lot of people are making that work in the health industry, those who work in the food and service industry, those who have to go out and do daily shifts still to make sure, and of course the single parent who has always been in essential worker. I think we don't recognize how hard it is for these single parents who have multiple children, trying to feed them, going to work, trying to find babysitting as well, and for those mothers who are out of work and have to try to school their children. Some may not have computers or laptops, so the libraries are closed, so it's a struggle for them as well. So they are in our prayers. But for those, like you said, I hope we do continue that legacy, to know that I think that there will be always a better appreciation if you go to a restaurant or a fast food restaurant or drive-through or a clothing store somewhere, a pharmacy, and know just how hard these people have been working and sacrificing their lives, putting their lives on the line, going out and being among other people when we're all supposed to have this distance from each other. I think everyone's routine is just totally changed. This is the new 9/11. It's something we will never ever. Some may recover from, and some may not. We have to pray for those who are going to who have been in isolation, the elderly as well. And so there are those who are going to be suffering from PTSD, from the financial woes as well. So we're all going to be globally changed from this pandemic, from everything that's going on. But yes, we have to recognize those who go out every day and put their lives on the line just to make it better for you and me.
Exactly. And Skylar, he actually talked about a group of people that you're a part of. I mean, you mentioned the fact you've got 5 kids, so I imagine that while you're trying to get your career going, you're also trying to do that parenting and actually having to do the teaching, because the teachers are working with you in terms of teaching those 5 kids of yours. And I don't know what the age ranges of the kids are, but I imagine they're probably covering a spectrum of ages, and you're having to kind of like get newfound respect. I imagine there are probably some people that are even seeing you out and about that have new respect for you as being a single mother of 5 who's taking care of this and also trying to get their career going.
Absolutely right. I agree. One of my daughters had trisomy 21. She has Down syndrome. She's 7. She just turned 7, April 17th. My oldest daughter, she's 8. She has ADHD. My daughter with Down syndrome, she has had open heart surgery. Durham was like our second home.